What's up everybody, I'm Tim from Timber Ridge Gifts. This video is going to be all about luxury candles. Now we've all seen luxury candles for sale before, whether it's a diptyque candle that's going to run you about $65 or something from Soleil Trudon or Joe Malone that's going to run you upwards of $500. Now it's easy to look at those and go, oh, people are just paying for the name, paying for the label. And in some cases I'm sure that's a good bit of it. But common sense has got to tell us for that higher end candle, they're also using higher end supplies. We're all familiar with our basic candle making supplies that we get from our regular supply companies, but there are actually a few luxury candle supply companies that do offer the higher end supplies to regular people like us. One of those companies I found is Lab & Company, and I was actually able to get my hands on some luxury supplies. If you guys want to check out my unboxing and review from Lab & Company, make sure you follow the link. So what we're going to do for this video, we're going to make a luxury candle and we're going to make a regular candle. We're going to do a cost breakdown of each, and when it's all said and done, we're going to compare the luxury candle I make to the regular candle and see how they stack up against each other. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the supplies we're going to use. First we'll start with the containers. For the luxury candle, we're going to be using this classic black candle vessel that I got from Lab & Company. These are going to run you about $5 a piece. For our regular candle, we're just going to be using a standard 16-ounce mason jar, which is going to run you roughly 75 cents a piece. For our wicks, for the regular candle, we're going to be using an Eco tin that I got from Lone Star Candle Supply. These are going to run you about 7 cents a piece. And for the luxury candle, I'm going to be using a wooden wick that I got from the Wooden Wick Company. These are going to run you about 65 cents a piece. The wax that we're going to be using for each candle, for the regular candle, we're going to be using Golden Brand's 464 that I got from Candle Science. This is going to run you roughly $1.27 a pound. And for the luxury candle, we're going to be using a Coco Apricot Wax that I got from Lab & Company. It's going to run you about $3.20 a pound. And finally, the fragrance oil from each one. For the luxury candle, we're going to be using Fashionably Late from Lab & Company. If you guys missed my review, this is an amazing fragrance oil. It smells wonderful. If I had to compare it to something, it would smell like a really high-end perfume. Just a really expensive perfume that you might find in some luxury store. And for its side-by-side comparison, the closest thing I had in my collection was Little Black Dress from Rustic Essentials, which also smells like a really nice expensive perfume. Price comparison for these, the Little Black Dress from Rustic Essentials is going to run you $22.95 a pound, and the Fashionably Late from Lab & Company is going to run you $72 a pound. We'll cover some finishing supplies later, but for now we've got enough to melt down. So we're going to go and melt down our wax, start turning these both into candles. Alright, we're back, we're completely melted down. For those of you that are curious, for our melt and pour process, we're using the Alex method. For more information on that, just follow the link right there. Basically, we're going to melt down to 150 degrees, add our fragrance oil, let it cool to 100 degrees, then we'll do our final pour. Now for the candles today, we're not using any dye. The reason for that is most luxury candles are not dyed. A couple reasons for that. The waxes they use are formulated to be like a really brilliant white color. So to dye that would be kind of counterproductive. And the second reason is they don't really need to be dyed because most of the presentation is in the actual container itself. But we are ready to add our fragrance oil, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. For each of these, we're going to be using a 12% fragrance load, which if you don't feel like doing the math, I'll do it for you. That's 2 ounces per pound. So we'll go ahead and measure that out. Be really careful with this $72 a pound fragrance oil. All right, there's our 2 ounces. We're going to go ahead and stir it in. Make sure we get it all in there. This stuff's really expensive. We don't want to waste a bit of it. And now for our regular candle, we're going to be using the Little Black Dress from Rustic Essentials. Go ahead and get our 2 ounces of this. And we'll go ahead and stir this in. We're just going to let this cool a bit and we'll be ready to pour. Alright, so we're at our pouring temperature now, so now we're just going to pour just like we would any other candle. Now we just let these turn into candles, let them set up, get nice and cured. We'll be back later for a nice head-to-head competition, see how they stack up against each other. Alright folks, we're back. It's time to compare these two. Now before we do, there's just a few more steps to actually be able to turn these into sellable, shippable candles. That would be putting a label on them and packaging them to sell. To put a label on this one, we can get by with a pretty basic label and still make it look really nice. That's going to run us about 35 cents if we make our own. To put one on the luxury candle, because of what we've already put into it, we don't really want to cut any corners. So we're going to have to put a pretty nice label on this, maybe something with a gold foil or a silver foil. Something like that's going to run you roughly about $1.25 per label. So next comes the packaging. We don't have to get super fancy to find packaging to match this. A lot of my packaging actually comes from the Dollar Tree. Something like this would be incredible packaging for a candle like this. I got this at the Dollar Tree for $1. This kind of packaging would be great for this type of candle. Again, it's $1 at the Dollar Tree. For something like this, we're really going to have to step up our packaging just to equal what we've already put into it. Lab & Company does sell some amazing boxes and packaging. Those are going to run you about $4.50 a piece. So I've broken down the cost as we've gone along, but let's talk about our total investment so far. Counting the container, fragrance oil, wax, wick, and everything that's gone into this candle, total cost of supplies is about $6.29. For this one, with the increased cost of the supplies, total cost at this point is $23.60. Now, to take it one step further and price these out, what we would actually sell them for, that can be a complicated question. It's going to depend on the market you sell in, the other products that you sell. A lot of different factors can really go into that. It's going to take a lot of work and research on your part to fully understand what you actually charge for your candles. I touched on it a little bit in my how to start a candle business video if you guys want to check it out. But the most commonly accepted pricing model is take your cost of supplies, multiply that by 2, that's going to be your wholesale cost. Multiply that by 2, that's going to be your retail cost. So we'll stick to that model for simplicity. So the $6.29 that we put into this candle would make it wholesale for $12.58, and final retail would be $25.16. Moving to this one, the $23.60 we put into it would wholesale for $47.20, and we're looking at a retail of $94.40. Now those numbers sound really great. A couple things you're going to need to consider though if you are looking to get into the luxury candle market. First is going to be obviously your startup costs. Keeping in mind that it costs $23.60 to make this one candle. To build up an inventory of 100, 200 candles, you're looking at astronomical startup costs. And the second thing you need to consider is your actual marketing. You're not going to be able to just, I can't make a line of candles like that and expect them to sell as well as my regular candles do. Just because people do pay for that brand name recognition. I don't have the brand name recognition in the luxury candle line to be able to move completely to that and start selling these full time. To get that sort of brand name recognition that you would need would take a huge marketing campaign. Now, if you want the kind of money that Joe Malone gets for a candle, you're going to have to spend the kind of money that Joe Malone spends for marketing. At our level, not many of us can do that, but I still wanted to break these supplies out and show you guys just what was out there and what was possible. So now that we've got them made, let's go ahead and compare the two. So I guess the first thing we can compare is the actual presentation of each of them. Bearing in mind that they don't have labels, we can still visualize. This one, while it doesn't look bad, it's a great looking candle, I'm proud of it. We do have to admit that the overall appearance of this one is a much nicer candle. So in the appearance category, Advantage luxury candle. Now for the actual scents that we've chosen, comparing the two scents side by side, not really any objective way you can do that, just because they're not identical scents. Yeah, I did happen to pick two that were of the perfume variety, but they're not identical. So comparing the two side by side, you know, it's not really an easy comparison. But we're going to give it a shot. So just judging the two side by side, I would have to say that I do like the Fashionably Late better than the Little Black Dress. Not to say that I don't like that, but like I said, there's really no fair way to judge that. It's just basically an opinion, and there's no way to get a scientific result from that. So the next thing to look at is the actual quality. We're going to judge the cold throw and the scent throw of each candle. Let's first start with the luxury candle. Yeah, the scent throw is really, really strong. I would give it probably a 9 out of 10. So now let's check out the regular candle. And I don't know if it's just the wax combination and the fragrance oil or the actual fragrance oil we've chosen, but in my opinion the cold throw from the Little Black Dress is actually stronger than the Fashionably Late. So in terms of quality cold throw, I would give the advantage to the regular candle. I would rate it about a 10 out of 10. That's all that's left to do is light them up and see how they perform. Okay, now we're just going to take a break, let each of these get to a melt pool, and then we're going to judge the hot throw. Alright, now for our final test, we're going to check out the hot throw. Now, I will say, just based on the performance of each one so far, I do like the wood wick a lot better. It's just got that, if you've never heard them, it's got a little bit of a crackling sound, just more aesthetically pleasing. But there's no reason I couldn't put a wood wick in this one, so we're not really going to count it. We're just going to check the hot throw. To do that, we're just going to blow out the flame, give the smoke a minute to dissipate. We're going to check the hot throw by smelling the melt pool. That's where our actual hot throw comes from. It's not actually dissipated by the flame. It's just the heat from the melt pool that allows that fragrance oil to be evaporated and released. So we can check our hot throw by smelling the melt pool once the flame is out and all the smoke is dissipated. Right, so let's go ahead and check out the luxury candle. The scent's still really strong. If I had to rate it, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10. let's go ahead and check out the regular candle. And it's lost a tiny bit. It's not quite as strong. If I had to rate it, I'd give it probably about an 8 out of 10 as well. Alright, so let's tally up what we got so far. Appearance-wise, definitely the luxury candle is a winner, hands down. Performance-wise, it's almost a bit of a wash. I would give a slight advantage to the luxury candle just because I like the smell a little bit better. The hot throw I felt carried just a little bit more than the regular candle. So if I had to pick a winner, I would say by a slight edge, the luxury candle beat out the regular candle. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise to anyone. Common sense will tell you if you use better ingredients, you're going to come up with a better finished product. Certainly doesn't mean this is a more sellable product though. For my money, I would certainly invest my startup into something like this rather than something like this, just because of all the other issues you're going to run into when you do try to sell a candle like this. Not saying it can't be done, but it's going to take a lot of capital and a lot of work to get to the level where you're going to be able to sell these consistently and make a profit. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed my head-to-head luxury candle making video. For those of you that stuck it out this far, you're definitely going to be glad you did, because now it's giveaway time. I've actually put together a luxury candle making kit to give to one of my subscribers so that you can check these supplies out for yourself. To qualify for this video, I'm not going to make it super complicated. Just basically leave a comment in the comment section of this video. That's where I pick my winners from. There's one comment per person. Comment can be about anything. If you have a candle shop or a website where you sell your candles, you're more than welcome to drop your shop link as your comment. If you don't have your own shop yet, you can drop the shop link of a shop that you enjoy shopping at. It can be naming your favorite supplier or just saying hello. Any kind of comment will work. So you guys make sure you leave your comments, get registered for this giveaway. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications so you'll know when my next video comes out. Check out the links that I've shown throughout this video. There's going to be a few more showing right here. You guys feel free to share my videos on your social media. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.